I figured out ways to create awesome win-wins for these hotels and these people and these tourism boards and countries that I'm working for that actually drive tourist visits and customers through their door. And so, it's amazing when you can just simply, one, give freely, but then two, think of a strategic way for all sides to win and benefit than just simply paying for something, right? Because of course, like, I can pay, right? But I'd rather figure out a strategic way that it could actually help people like 10 times more.
All right, let's get going. I'm so excited, first and foremost, to welcome our guest, Zach Benson, to the show today. First, thanks for being here, man.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, and the reason I'm excited, the reason, well, two reasons I'll say, which is, rare. There's two reasons, not just one. The first is that I know you, that I've met you in person multiple times. We've connected. And anytime I get to bring someone on that I've met in real life, it just is exciting for me because I can bring the knowledge to the table, but I also know you as a person. I know you're a good person. You help people. You go out of your way to do special things that you don't have to do, like being on this interview. You take the time for people. So that's one reason I'm excited. So thank you for taking the time today.
Yeah, man. You're a good dude, and this podcast is awesome. So, I'm excited to share today.
So, and the show's brands on brands on brands. And the reason that,
Yeah.
what we're going to connect on today has to do with personal branding. And which is, my entire season 2 has been geared towards personal branding. So it's definitely a topic I've been focusing in on. And what's special is you've kind of gone about it different than anyone I've seen in terms of building your personal brand. And your tool belt, your like magical skill that's gotten you there has been Instagram and your skills with that. And you teach on that too. So those are the two reasons I'm excited to bring you on today and get going. Because I think right now, especially, like, people are looking for a little more clarity in their business and the things they can do to help move them. Because times are tough right now. So looking for like some inspiration today and some of these tips. So we'll get all that for you guys today. So let's start there, Zach. Let's start with a little bit about like just personal branding, your journey, but more like not the history, but why is it so important to build a personal brand? Like, how did that hit your mind? Oh my God, I need to work on this. This is valuable. Why is it important?
It's everything, man. I mean, when you have a personal brand and it's like famous, right? You can do anything. It's easier to seal deals, to create high level relationships with celebrities and people that you want to connect with. It's just gonna like 100x your business. But how I realized that it was so important was when I was teaching breakdance, and I'd reach out to dance studios, and this was 10 years ago, right? And I'd say, hey, I'm Zach. I want to teach a workshop, and you know, email after email, I heard no after no. And one lady was kind enough to say, like, Zach, like, you don't have a personal brand. Like, nobody knows about you. You haven't really won any awards or been on any TV shows. Like, you don't even have a website. Like, how do you expect to charge like $850 an hour for a class when I know nothing about you and you're not famous, right? And it just really clicked. Then I was like, okay, she's right. I gotta, figure out how to get on a competition and, audition for talent agencies and TV shows, and, build a website with professional photography, a professional video, testimonials, like. And so it was really 10 years ago when I was like, okay, now this all makes sense. I see what she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's value there. But how did you figure out, okay, I'm going to turn this on now? Because I think a lot of people are like, okay, I could see the value in building a reputation. That's not new. But a lot of them don't think about it as like they don't take the next step. They might think, I have a resume, or they might think, I can see the importance of it, but it looks like difficult. I don't even know where to start. Why is building a personal brand so difficult? What do you think holds people up in getting started?
That's the big thing that separates a lot of people, right? You could be the most talented person in the world, right? But if you don't know about PR and branding and selling yourself and putting yourself out there, like, nobody's really gonna know. nowadays it's a little bit easier. Like if you're super super good, like let's say, I mean, we're talking about breakdance. Like let's say that you're like this breakdancer from Morocco and you're just the best in the world, right? I mean, people have YouTube to get famous now, or Instagram to get famous now, and I mean these are free platforms where people can put out free content and get known, and so that's why I really went all in with Instagram, and have built people's brands on that, because it's a great launching platform. But I really think it's just difficult because I mean people just don't know the how-tos, right? They're just like, okay. And even if they do know the how-tos, like I feel like a lot of them are afraid to just try, to fail, to get rejected, to hear no's, to have people, doubt them, ignore them, like, all that stuff, right? So I think it has to do with that and the mindset, and just like, okay, like, and it's going to take a lot of time, it takes some money, it takes a lot of hard work. And so I think, it's for those reasons.
Yeah, and if people are starting to say, okay, well, I can see why this is valuable, I want to get started. If you had to start again today, knowing what you know now, where would you start, or how would you start? Like, where, I know we all have to choose our own path, but for you specifically, like for what you want to do, where would you start if you had to start over?
Yeah, I mean, if I had like knowing what I know now and like have like starting over, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I mean, for once, like it's really important for you to build relationships with people in the media, right? And you know, I guess what I wish I would have done sooner, like right away, like when starting from zero, was like um creating those relationships and doing outreach to those people right away, because then that would have saved a ton of time off my learning curve, right? Because when you have those valuable relationships and connections, um, you can do anything, right? And so just by simply getting written up about, in your local newspaper or like your local TV channel, it's about connecting with local celebrities right away, and providing a ton of value to them and getting noticed and seen by them. So then they're like, okay, wow, that's an interesting story. Whoa, like I want to cover that. Or, like I wish I would have started out pitching them sooner than waiting until now. Like, I mean, you know, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, absolutely. And I'm like, man, how do I do that? How do I, how do I get in front of these people and make those connections other than just reaching out? I think part of the thing that is, I think, piece of your story here is that you start to become known for something. Like you have to have something that people want to talk to you about. Like, so it's like you have to be really interesting or have something that you start to build a reputation for. And I think you've done that in a lot of ways. And so we can dive into your journey there a little bit about like you found something you were passionate about, a couple of things, like you found dance, you found travel, and now, you learned a skill, all these things like make you a really interesting person to talk to. So when you reach out to these media contacts, it gets a little easier. Uh, how did you start to find these passions and like lean into them? It seems like that's something that looks like outside in that was easy for you to find the things you were passionate about and to do them. But like, tell me that about how that happened for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, so you've heard my story, but for those of you who haven't, I mean, I was born in Korea. I grew up in Iowa, though, because I was adopted by my family in Iowa. And so, it was hard for me because I had this speech impediment. I couldn't say the letter R. So I was this quiet kid. I never participated in class. I was always getting these bad grades. And so I was made fun of a lot, right? Life wasn't looking too good for me until I did find dance. And it was finally something that I was just really good at and passionate about, and, you know, excelled at. And so I went all in, just like anything in life, man. And once I find something that I'm really good at or something I really like and brings me a lot of joy, I just go full force, right? I learn everything I can about it. Um, I put in a lot of time, a lot of hours of work, and, meet others that are doing it better than me and learn from them. And so that's what happened with dance. I was never the best, but I was, on So You Think You Can Dance for a little bit. Made it to the
One of my
top
favorite
100.
shows. Yeah, one of my
Yeah,
favorite shows. Me and the wife would watch that all the time. I mean, it was a top show on television for a period of time there, and every week we tune in. So you think you can dance, and it was like the best dancers around the world being challenged to do the dances out of their style. And you made it on this show against how many different competitors to get on this show. That's amazing.
yeah. And so I didn't go all the way. I made it to the top 100 in the LA audition, and really leveraged that and used their brand to teach dance all around the world. Because one producer said, Zach, you just don't have what it takes. Right. And so after the third time auditioning, making it to the top 100, I did not try out again. Right. His words hurt me. But the second producer told me, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Like, go out and make a name for yourself. Use our brand and teach breakdance all around the world. And that's what I did. And, towards the end of my career, I was, pulling in $1,000 an hour, like actually getting paid what I wanted to get paid when I first started. And so it's that 10 year, like 10,000 hours rule, right? But it's like, okay, finally I could use the name. I could connect myself with something. So you think you can dance. And then he was like, why don't you contact Nesquik, like the chocolate Hershey company,? And I was like, okay, well, yeah, chocolate drink company. And so then I contacted them. I was like, hey, my name is Nesquik. I go by that. I drink Nesquik before competitions. Here's a special video that I made and created just for you. Um, would you be willing to watch it? And they watched it, man, and they loved it, and they ended up sharing it in their Facebook page, which had millions of followers, and they sponsored me for a year. And then I could say, hey, I've worked with Nestle. And then the job started opening up, and everybody wanted my dance workshops, and that's how I was like, okay, now it's all making sense, right? So you never have to actually be the best to go out there and do what you love full time all around the world. I mean, there's two types of people, right? Just people know who kind of hustle their way in, like me, not being the best, and learn about this marketing and PR and branding stuff, right? Do some things, and then leverage those things to create opportunities. And then there's other people who are just world class. I mean, just like Olympic gold medalists. And but even then you still have to have the charisma, the personality, the character, like learning how to be good on camera, learning how to sell yourself to get those huge sponsored deals. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to be world class to work with world class um, clients and people. I mean, it's just really about yeah, the brand and reputation.
Yeah, well, and what I'm hearing too, I mean,
Yeah,
for those of you that are missing the nuggets here, the valuable
yeah,
pieces of information, right? Like
yeah,
it was like these little things matter that, yes, you put the time in to learn the skills, right? And you can't just fake it. Like you have to have something there that you've practiced and you've done. So you took the time to do the skills. On top of that, you went and you took some bold actions. You went and tried these things out in a place that you could say, okay, maybe I can make either a relationship or I can build some kind of leverage through, succeeding at something. But you tried, right? And then you build some association because now you've got something you can lean into. Say, oh, I met this person, I've been on this show, or I've done this thing that it brings a name that people associate you with. And they're like, well, he must be good if he's done these things, right? Like that's amazing. You learned the skills, you built association, and then you took bold action. You like said, not everyone takes that third step and says, I'm going to go to Nestle and see if they want to work with me. Not everyone does that. Not everyone goes to the tryout and puts their skills to the test. And,
yeah.
they're simple things, but not everyone has the courage to do them. They sit there overthinking things. They don't take action. And I love that you've done all three of these things.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was really good how you put that.
My skill is listening. I'm an aggressive listener, but so I don't want people to like walk away without some tips, and I do want to tap into like that Instagram brain of yours. Like what's one of the skills you picked up? I'd love to give some people like if they're like I just want to know how to use this tool a little better. Can we talk about Instagram a little bit and like your approach to growing a channel?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. And what I usually tell people, like, just, if you're not on Instagram, now's the time to be on it, right? Because I mean, there's still so much opportunity on this platform, and it's what everybody's using to connect with like celebrities and influencers, and getting in front of them to promote their products and services, right? It's what people use these days, right? People still do Facebook, and you know there's a lot of opportunity there, but it's a lot easier to connect with people on Instagram. So that's why building and growing your brand on Instagram is so important. Now,
And I feel like you
usually,
do it
yeah.
differently than a lot of people though, right? What I've seen is I've seen people pay people $2,000 to $5,000, like, which, for some people is a lot of money, to
Hmm.
just post pretty pictures on their account.
Hmm.
And after a year of that and $60,000 later, there's nothing that's happened for them. But
Exactly.
you've actually figured out how to help people grow, like legitimately grow interest in their brand and their business. So what do you do different?
Yeah, well, so I mean, listen, if you guys look at my profile at Zach Vacay, like you're gonna see just like reposted travel content, right? So not even my own videos. And so the strategy that I recommend for anybody who's starting out there, and even people who are like on it now, is to use the repost strategy. So find other content that's in your industry and niche that's gone viral, right? From maybe other influencers or on other pages or other celebrities that you follow and admire, edit, and look on the home page and find that content, right? Videos that has gotten hundreds of thousands to millions of views. And you're gonna start to see like why they got actually went viral and hit that home page, and got millions of views on their content. And so this is the best strategy that I can recommend, because you have to you have to follow and copy stuff that's working, right? And the algorithm on Instagram is constantly changing, and they're super smart. So what used to work like in 2014 or 15 or 16 or even 2019, I mean, it's not working now. Like automation's pretty much shut down. Follow unfollow no longer works. I'm talking about growth strategies. Um, all these tools and robots that were created and made people's lives easier on Instagram, are all shut down. And if you are using them, then your accounts also get shut down too. So it's a bad thing. Don't use robots. But use reposted content, and that's what I'm doing on my account. So I have not spent one penny, one single dollar on at Zach Vacay account. So the strategy that I'm teaching you guys is 100% free, right? We grew it from 0 to 72,000 followers, and it's even verified on Instagram. Um, just from reposting content and using the second strategy that I'm about to teach you. So once you've learned how to find, like travel, like viral content, the next thing that you want to do is you want to network with other influencers, other big pages in your niche that are posting similar types of content as you. And you want to befriend them, right? And you want to reach out to them and direct message them and say, I love your content. Like, I love your page. I've been following you for a while, and I can see that you're growing a lot. Like, would you be willing to get me into some engagement groups, right? Because I see a lot of interaction and engagement on your page. It looks like you're in these engagement groups where you have all these accounts liking and commenting on your content. I'd be willing to pay you like $20 for each group you can get me into. So this is like a cold direct message that I'm sending to people who have 100,000 followers, right? Or maybe like 1 million followers, right? Somebody bigger than me. And by simply complimenting them and offering them money, they're gonna listen, because everybody wants to get paid, and everybody wants to feel loved and respected. And so just with those two things, the viral content and these engagement groups, that's my whole strategy, guys, for my personal account. And I'm getting people signed up for my, stuff every single day on autopilot, just with this strategy, and growing my page organically, like for free. I mean, of course I don't do it myself. I mean, I have my managers, my team do it all for me, but this is a strategy that's still working today.
And there's a lot of right ways to do something, is my belief in general. So let's talk about that a little bit. So what I've heard is, the gossip out there, is that, when you start asking other people, you join these groups, you work with influencers, you get into pods, what do you want to call them, to start liking content. I've heard two things. One, that because they're not real people that like are fans of yours, if you will, that like, just love you for you, like because you're kind of negotiating that it's what's the importance of it? Because they're not clients, right? Like, why is it that valuable to have people interacting? Which, I want to hear that answer. Like, why is it valuable to just have interaction in general, even if they're just your friends? And then B is, if you can't keep that up, I've heard that hurts you. Like, cause they saw activity and then your activity died. And so Instagram's like, well, I guess he's not that interesting anymore. So how do what are some of like why does this work in that, why does this make sense? Why does this strategy of working with other people make sense?
So here's the deal, right? So what I'm talking about is, I mean, this is really effective. Like if you're using it for, if you have a repost account, right, where you're reposting other content from other people and giving them credit, and then boosting it with other people's pages, right? Inside of these engagement groups where you get 14 other people liking and commenting on your content, right? That's preferably the same niche, right? So if I'm a traveler at Zach Vacay, I'm going to get other travel destination influencers to engage with my stuff. And then I'm also going to, inside those travel engagement groups, because travel is my industry. But I also have my team do one-offs where it's like, hey, we reach out to celebrities and from all different niches and say, hey, do you want to like and comment on my most recent post? And so it's just 2020 algorithm works like this. When you're getting engagement several times throughout the day, it's not just in one chunk where it's all automated like it was before. Like those groups don't really work. We have like all these groups that we've created and we drop in our clients dozens of times per day, and that's what's kind of boosting their content to the top post for different hashtags and keywords that people are searching for. So let's say that you're in real estate, or you're in marketing, or you have an e-com product like a fitness supplement, right? And you want to rank for fitness supplements or whatever. You want to use these engagement groups because when you're using the right hashtags, then you'll hit the top post for those hashtags, which then your post will be one of the top 9 posts or so posts for those hashtags, and more people will see it, so it drives more traffic to your page. Now that's why I recommend that you have like a VA or somebody on this all day every day. I mean, grinding on your account. That's how it works. Now if you're just posting like normal types of content, like guys, we've all heard of these groups, right? I mean, if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, they all have these similar types of engagement groups. I mean, for example, the Facebook algorithm, right? I mean, you can comment on something that was 2 years ago, right? And you can reply to somebody's comment that was 3 years ago, and when people will see that comment, and it'll boost you to some of those people's pages, right? And you can pretty much get that old post where somebody edified you or talked really highly about you or said you're the best, and people will see that again, right? I do that all the time. I mean, it's just how these algorithms work. So
I think that's a great way to say it, because I think the reason I asked the question in that way is I think people
yeah,
get a little bit romantic about like the right way to do something and keeping things pure and whatever else. But when you think about like what type of account do you want to build, if you want to build a repost type account, there's advantages to that. You've leveraged those kinds of accounts for other things. You've leveraged them to build relationships, to build business opportunities. And
travel for free.
exactly. And I want to hear about that some more too. Right. And if you're not romantic about it having to be this perfect thing, really what you're doing is you're giving yourself a shot. You're saying, you know what, like I could post a picture on Instagram. I could use no hashtags. I can, ask no one, I could tell no one about it and ask no one to support me and add comments. And guess what's going to happen? No one's going to see the thing, minus maybe the couple of organic people that it shows it to. You're giving yourself a shot. You're like, well, let
Yeah.
me, like, it's a machine. Let's like give it some hashtags to use, the right
Yes.
hashtags. Let's get people in that tells the algorithm some people might be interested in this content and give it a chance to be shared.
Yes, yes, 100%, man. I mean, you really just have to give it a shot and try. I mean, the more things that you do, the more opportunities that you have for potential growth and sales. So, and new friends. So you always got to do something and try something new and do it like this.
Now, and I like the idea of, posting things that have historically gone viral. Is there any of this that's like
Mhm.
that you worry about? Like if you repost someone's stuff, like you're going to get sued for copyright or whatever the stuff is. Like, is there any risk of that kind of thing?
No, as long as you guys, credit the person that created the piece of content in the description, the caption, and even tag them in the video or on the picture. I mean, that's just like Instagram etiquette. I mean, occasionally you'll have people who say, can you please tag me? Like maybe like you forgot to tag them, and they'll say, hey, can you please tag me in the video? Like this is awesome for them because they're getting more exposure. Like they're getting free shares.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna turn down free shares. Like, okay, think about Facebook or like Twitter retweets. I mean, that's amazing. More people sharing my video or whatever, that's gonna help you out. So people are actually happy that you're doing it.
Yeah, and I think I would be careful about, like, I wouldn't take something that's like a professional photographer's photograph, post it as if it's your own, and
Hmm.
not give them credit. They're going to get pissed off, and you're probably going to get sued. So,
Of
and
course.
we're not here to like tell you what's legal and what's not legal. I, talk to your lawyers about that kind of stuff. But if you can use something the right way and it helps your business,
Yeah.
more power to you. But I would
Yeah.
definitely say, like, find ways to make sure that you're not crossing any boundaries.
Yeah. I mean, this is like anything in life, right? Let's say that somebody connected you with a person, and you guys got a made some big deals and made big money together, right? I mean, credit the person, or they tagged you on a random Facebook post a few years ago, and connected you with a legend or a superstar. I mean, credit them, like show them appreciation. Like everybody's gonna, they'll appreciate that.
I love it. And so here's what's interesting. You go to Zach's profile, right? You go to at Zach Benson. What a lot of people will do is they'll have like the content's all about them. It's not like the viral stuff. It's just random things that they're thinking throughout the day. They don't have people engaging with their content. So it's not going viral. And it's less interesting because it's not this stuff that's already been trending. And then, but then they'll have a link that drives people to like the thing that they're selling, right?
Hmm.
What's interesting about your account, you go to your account, you click on the link, and the link is like to an article. It doesn't take you to anywhere where I can buy something from you. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that? Is that part of a strategy, or is that just randomly what you put there?
Yeah, well, so people ask me all the time, why don't you have a account for the business or the your page, your personal page? Like you're not even posting your personal content. And guys, the reason is because I just want to inspire other people to travel this beautiful world, to explore it, and to get excited about these travel videos that I'm posting. And the other part is like, I'm putting them into my funnel and they don't even realize it because my funnel, my marketing strategy for my Zach Vacay account is like, I mean, you can say that I've been to so many countries. I'm a world traveler, investor, growth marketer, and then you can see I have this article, right? It's my Forbes article, and I say learn how we travel the world for free, and it brings them to my Forbes article that was written about me a couple years ago, and it's just more pure value because I mean in this world that we live in, people are just trying so hard to make direct sales. Like anytime you just say, hey, click my link, buy it now. I mean, some people will if you have a ton of influence and you've provided them a ton of value and they really love you and they're a raving fan. Yes, that's how The Rock and Conor McGregor and all these people make a ton of money, and but they have insane brands. Now, I mean, for me, I'm not at that level yet. So what I'm doing is they're being piquing their interest with my travel content, getting them excited to learn more how to travel the world like I do. And Forbes is instant credibility. It's instant high level social proof. So then they can say, wow, Zach is who is this guy? Like that, you know, this guy's a mystery. Like he's on Forbes and he's teaching me all of this stuff about how to, you know, grow Instagram and travel for free. It's all for free. And then he has this free guide at the bottom of the Forbes article. And that's my funnel, guys, right? That's my opt-in. That's how I get people to join my email list and my academies. It's like I have this freebie guide at the end of my Forbes article on my account at Zach Vacay. And so when they click it, it brings them to my Facebook chat bot, and then everything is automated. It's like, hey, I'm Zach. I see you want the guide. What's the best email? Type it in. Boom, it's on its way. By the way, I have some more value that I'm offering in my free Facebook group. If you want in, and I get, you know, 30 to 40 people a day just from this simple funnel on my personal account joining my free Facebook group. So, you know, it's just a more indirect kind of way of how I'm getting people to learn about me. And then, you know, of course, they're in my funnel, and then I can provide them more value in my free Facebook group or my email campaigns if I want. Can retarget them, I mean, with some other ads. But that's how I'm doing it. It's my style is more indirect. Like I don't, not as in your face as some people.
Yeah, I mean, what's great is you're leading with the brand, right? You're creating all these associations. They see the follower count because you've built this viral account, that's the repost account. They learn a little bit more, like they get curious enough to want to learn a little bit more. They go to the article, they, you know, read something that like builds the story around you, because you didn't even write the article. It was like written by a Forbes writer, and it's about you, right? At
Yes,
least it's like,
yes,
yeah, and then it leads to your link. But it's like the intrigue strategy, which just ties back to our personal branding conversation. Like you're like the goal of it all is for them to ask, who is Zach Benson? like I wonder, like, what is, I want to know more about this guy. Like, what is this thing that he's doing? Oh, and here's a useful thing that maybe I need right now in my business. Like this, like building the intrigue around it. And once I met Zach, I started to see him everywhere. Like everywhere, I'm like, oh, he knows this person now. And what is he doing at this conference? And he's speaking here. And it's subtle. I've never heard him try to sell anything, you know, but as I learn more about him, like, oh, I'm like, well, what does he do? And then I'm like, oh, he has this amazing company called Assistagram, and he helps people build their Instagram accounts. And, you know, and I believe he can do it because he's done it for himself, and he has all these other accounts he's built. Like, what an amazing way to have the story do the work for you, to like build this story.